So our next speaker is Chris Salituro, but it says Sal in quotes. May I just call you Sal? Yes? Sal, okay. Great. I was probably gonna anyway. It's just a great nickname. Born and raised on the north side of Chicago, Sal went to Loyola University in Rogers Park, where he played I'm out of order. Lots of rec league basketball. There we are. President of the ski club. Can we all please make an impressed noise? Yes. And eventually learned a few things and became a teacher. After a brief year teaching English in Japan, he returned to his Chicago roots to teach at St. Patrick High School, my husband's alma mater, for a couple years, and then Stevenson High School in Lincolnshire, Illinois. He taught at Stevenson for 23 years and won numerous awards, none of which were better than the reward of students who returned to tell him what a difference he made in their lives, especially the two students who met in his class and 10 years later asked him to be the officiant at their wedding. Come on, man. Truth, I believe it. In 2022, he left Stevenson and is now teaching part-time at Loyola University, where he is urging students to spend less time at the rec center and less time skiing and more time studying. He's married to his wonderful wife who, I gotta say this? All right. He's married to his wonderful wife who lowered her standards to marry him, but she's happy she did, he thinks. He has 3 daughters who are wonderful, but have no idea how good they have it. Sal wrote his own bio, friends. Sal is gonna tell us about a book that changed his life. Sal.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I want to start by apologizing in advance to Miss Kenny. I hate reading. Seems like kind of a weird way to start this story, but that was the story that I told myself growing up, that I was not a good reader. And so I didn't like to read, because I just wasn't good at it. Abraham Heschel used to say, words create worlds. The world I was raised in was a blue-collar household. No one in my family had gone to college before me. My parents encouraged me, they read to me, but if I did poorly on a test, they would usually say, well, did you do your best? And I was like, yeah, I think so. What else was I gonna say? No, I didn't try. And so my mom would say, well, that's all you can do. You just do your best. And so over time, I kind of developed a way of thinking where if I didn't do really well, I guess I wasn't good at something. And that was especially true with reading. And I would read, a teacher would assign a book, and I would read diligently, cover to cover, every word in there verbatim. But when I closed that book, I didn't remember a thing. And I just assumed, I guess I'm just not really good at reading. Now, despite that, I was accepted to Loyola University. Thank you. It was kind of a long pause, but I appreciate it. But the mindset that I had about reading and learning followed me to college. I did okay, but there were times when I struggled, and I told myself that, well, I guess I'm just not good at it. I'm not a good reader. And so, I kind of accepted mediocrity. But then I had philosophy class with Dr. Valancourt. He was Philosophy of Human Nature, 120. Really well respected, super nice guy, just cared about his students. And one day I was walking out of class and he said to me, hey, hang on, what did you think about that reading? Now this was Philosophy 120, so we were reading Hume and Marx and Socrates and Kant, it was difficult stuff. So Valancourt says, what did you think about it? And I was like, oh, I don't know, Dr. Valancourt. I'm not a very good reader. I don't think I really understood it. And he said, oh, do you want to know what I think? And I was like, sure. So he said, I think you're full of shit. I was like, Dr. Valancourt, what do you mean? And he said, I think you're just telling yourself that as an excuse so you don't have to do the work. And I said, no, I'm just not a good reader. So I went home that week and I did the reading for the week. And I was determined to show him like how difficult this is. So I read everything and I made notes in the margin and I circled and underlined spots that I thought, I don't understand this and I don't understand that. And after I was done, I kind of understood it. Like it kind of made a difference. So I went into class and I said, oh, Dr. Valancourt, like, I'm not sure I still understand this. Like there were a lot of parts that I like circled and I'm not sure about this and I had this question and blah, blah, blah. And Dr. Valancourt said, that's a great point. That's a really important passage you underlined. That's a good criticism you raised. Although I didn't have words for it yet, he changed the way that I thought about learning. And so I graduated Loyola and I became a high school teacher myself. And I was very intimidated because I kind of got lucky. I ended up at this like award-winning school and I just felt like I don't belong here, and secretly I felt really inadequate, like I can't possibly fit in. But early in my career, I read this book called Mindset by Carolyn Dweck. Dweck found that she was a psychologist who studied learning, studied success, and found that there's different types of learners, especially learners with a fixed mindset, who feel like, look, if I run into a problem, if I run into a difficult question, or if I get a bad grade, it must be because like I'm just not good at that. And the obstacle means, you've reached your max of what you can do. But then she found other learners that she called growth mindset learners. And she said, these learners see these problems, see these obstacles as an opportunity to try something different, as a challenge to rise to, as a way of like changing how they learn in order to figure it out. And I finally had the words for what Valancourt was trying to teach me in that class, that I could be a growth mindset learner. And so mindset changed the way I thought about myself. It changed the way I learned material. It changed the way I parented my kids. It changed the way I taught and how I talked to my own students in class. In short, Dweck's words changed my world. And so I went back to Loyola, second time, with a new mindset. This time I earned a master's degree. I was the first in my family to earn a bachelor's degree, and now the first to earn a master's degree. Thank you. I continued to teach sociology in high school. I rose to the top of my field as a high school sociology teacher. And I taught my students about having a growth mindset in their own lives. And then finally, I returned to Loyola a third time, this time as a professor. And thanks. And though I haven't told any of my students that they are full of shit, I am well aware that words create worlds, and I'm thankful to Dweck and her book Mindset for giving me the words to change my world.